the World Council of Churches issued a statement regarding the law passed in Ukraine that allows the banning of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church. The Council is concerned about the possibility of unjust collective punishment of an entire religious community, violating the principles of freedom of religion and belief. The Ukrainian government was urged to be cautious to protect citizens' rights and social cohesion. Morning comes too late. The destructive legislative mechanism is already in motion. For the West, religious schism is nothing more than a tool for the systematic destruction of Ukraine.
The bill allowing the banning of the canonical Ukrainian Orthodox Church in the country was initially supported by 265 deputies of the Rada, who started to rage during the announcement of the results. 65. And on Saturday, Zelensky, by signing the bill, as they say, led the Ukrainian people to ruin.
This is the cancellation of 25 million Ukrainian citizens living in the country today. Why such a number? Because it is precisely 25 million people living in Ukraine who consider themselves members of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church. This is a war against their own people. This is a war against their own church. This is a war against their own morality. This is a war against their own identity. I can't recall anyone else in the last 100 years who has pursued such a policy.
The violent seizure of faith began in Ukraine several years ago. Persecution of Orthodoxy. Dozens of UOC priests behind bars. Police raids on churches. Beating of parishioners.
Green men invaded the territory of our church. Without insignia, without identification marks. With them were priests of the OCU whom I know personally. The mayor of our city was there, and they pushed us aside. They beat our abbot, who spent several weeks in the hospital afterward. They broke the fingers of his wife. They sprayed gas in her face and eyes.
How so? How can we be without a church?
The adoption of this law is a huge violation of basic human rights and religious freedom. And this act legalizes further persecution of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church, the only canonical church in Ukraine. We believe this decision will bring much suffering to ordinary believers. This law is being passed in the face of total silence from global human rights organizations, and it is a terrible shame, because right before our eyes, based on this illegal decision, the main church of Ukraine is being destroyed.
Meanwhile, Western politicians and media give full freedom to the Ukrainian authorities in their quest to destroy the common religious and cultural heritage that has united Ukrainians and Russians for hundreds of years. The Orthodox schism is a powerful weapon in the hands of an external enemy. Let's recall the program that external interests concocted for the incredible participants of the 2020 Belarus uprising. The fate of the Belarusian church was outlined in it as a separate point, to reform it into an autocephalous church. The EU readily took note of the ban on the UOC in Ukraine. And for formality's sake, they stated that they expect some adherence to freedom of religion from Kyiv. They might as well have stayed silent. Pope Francis expressed concern. Churches should not be touched, the pontiff rightly said. Will this become a prophetic warning? It's unlikely that the words of the wise reach Kyiv.
I tell you, Mr. President, and all your entourage, our tears will not fall to the ground. They will all fall on your heads. Today you think that coming to power on our backs by our will, you can treat us this way. The Lord will not forgive you or your family for this act.
Faith in Vishnu, faith. However, the hunt led by Kyiv witches is on a new turn. Deputy Artem Dmitruk, who was the only one to stand up for the Orthodox Church, has been charged with assaulting a soldier and a policeman. The MP considers the persecution revenge for his stance and is confident that the security forces wanted to eliminate him during the arrest. According to Ukrainian media, Dmytryk is already fleeing towards Chisinau. There is more to come. Elizaveta Kazakova, Dmitry Astrotak, News Agency.